Grocery deliveries are free.
Download Instacart. Add life to cart. Terms apply.
With up to $700 off Peloton Bike Plus purchases, there's no better time to bring it home for the holidays and ride like nobody's watching. Spin, sweat. Hey, scream if you want to. No one's going to stop you. We've got the classes. Just show up, and our instructors will help you show off. It's your workout, your rules. For our best offer of the season, head to onepeloton.com/offers. Work out like nobody's watching. All access membership separate. Terms apply.
Hurry into the Ram Black Friday sales event for great deals on the trucks that give you all the power you need and all the luxury you could ask for. Well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4 for $379 a month for 39 months with $4,035 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Ally Financial. Extra charge for miles over 32,500. Not all lessees will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 11:30. Hurry into the Ram Black Friday sales event for great deals on the trucks that give you all the power you need and all the luxury you could ask for. Well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4 for $379 a month for 39 months with $4,035 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Ally Financial. Extra charge for miles over 32,500. Not all lessees will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 11:30.
All who made Thanksgiving complete.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
The diehards.
There's a lot that think they're the king, you know what.
And those shows out there are awful.
But I've also been very good at grooming co-hosts to be like really national spectacular talents. And then I sit here in my basement broadcasting live.
This is funner.
I suck.
This is funner.
Funner. Is that a word? Funner? You don't even drink.
No.
The Diehards, weeknights from 8 to 10 Eastern on the Sports Map Radio Network.
My passion about ancestry comes from the fact that I was an only child who didn't have family. I see all my friends doing family outings and family this, and I would spend weekends just lost in ancestry. My first one that I found was Liz. I was also an only child, and there were no big holiday gatherings where I got to know cousins or aunts. It's because of ancestry we've kind of become bi-coastal besties.
The holidays are meant to be shared with family. Start today during our holiday sale at Ancestry.com.
Imagine learning about radio and being mentored by true radio professionals in real radio stations. Well, actually, you don't have to imagine, because there's Radio Connection. Radio Connection gives you the opportunity to learn one-on-one and be mentored by radio pros. Plus, you don't have to worry about getting into a crazy amount of debt with school tuition either. Radio Connection keeps their tuition at much lower costs. To find out more info, visit radioconnection.com.
This is the Sports Map Radio Network.
You're listening to Bloomberg Business of Sports from Bloomberg Radio. This is the Bloomberg Business of Sports show, where we explore the big money issues in the world of sports. I'm Michael Barr, along with Scarlett Fu and Damian Sassower. Golf legend Annika Sorenstam wants to inspire more women to follow in her footsteps.
That for a 66. Back-to-back championships for Annika Sorenstam.
She has her own foundation, Annika, and this past week she partnered with Parity, a firm focusing on closing the gender income and opportunity gap across professional sports.
They're just wrapping up a week-long series of events designed to elevate women's sports icons and draw more attention to women in sports. To take us through all of that, plus Parity's work, we welcome the legend herself, Annika Sorenstam, and Parity's CEO, Leela Srinivasan. I'm going to start with the obvious question, because that's just the way I roll, because I got to explain Parity to me, Leela.
Of course.
Parity's been around for about 3 years, and our mission is to close the gender income and opportunity gap in professional sports. And the way we do that is by building high-impact campaigns and various collaborations between brands, pro women athletes, and their fans.
So, Annika, let's bring you into the conversation. Tell us a little bit about your connection with Parity and what you're doing in concert with them.
Yes, so the Parity Week is a celebration of 3 events held this week, and one of those events is the Annika driven by Gamebridge. It's an LPGA Tour event, the second to last event of the year, and we're playing in Tampa. That's a Pelican, and Gamebridge is the big sponsor, so we're excited about that.
So it's your own namesake tournament then?
Yes, I feel very lucky, honored to have my name on a tournament. You know, I've been associated with LPGA for a long time, and this is to continue with my legacy, but also we have a connection with a tournament where we celebrate not just the young women, but, you know, we have Annika Foundation initiatives throughout the weeks, and it's been great to have them there. And, you know, the winner of one of our tournaments, Louise Riedquist, is part of it. And, yeah, it's just it's a great week to celebrate women's sports. And, you know, with the Parity Week, we have 180 women athletes. And then we have the Women with Drive, which is fantastic. So should be a good week.
Annika, you know, I have so many questions about the tournament, about the Pelican, about, you know, Nelly Korda, and everybody's going to be participating. But I really need to ask you about that drive on the final hole of the British Open in 2003. I mean, I know you get asked about this all the time. Sari Pack, what a drive. You got to tell me, do you still think about that, like, only every minute of every day?
I do. I dream about it. It's probably one of my best drives I've ever had. It's one of those, you know, those keepers, the one you put in your, you know, library of shots. And when I stand on a hole, I always think if I can just hit that drive like I did at 2003 Anyway, the British Open 2003, that was just amazing.
So for our audience, I mean, Annika, what brought you out to get behind the Cambridge, behind Parity Week? I mean, when you were obviously, an athlete, you know, the opportunities that were available to women athletes relative to what they are today. If you could just comment briefly on that.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. When I stepped away in 2008, I wanted to get back to the game. I wanted to say thank you. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today without the game of golf, and how can I inspire the next generation of young girls? So the Annika Foundation was in the natural step, and now we have, you know, 7 global tournaments. We have over 600 girls that play every year, and, you know, this Parity Week is just, I mean, it lines up so beautifully. I mean, that's what Gamebridge and the CEO Dan Towers is all about. You know, it's just bringing, you know, awareness to women's sports and creating platforms to them to get a chance, you know, to play for some great money. And it's just, I think it's fabulous. The timing couldn't be better, and certainly very proud to be part of it.
Leila, I want to bring you in and talk more about Parity Week. And there, you guys are paying tribute to 3 of some of the greatest athletes, period. That's Annika, of course, Billie Jean King, and Lynn St. James. You got 3 powerhouse people, Leila, that just lead the sport and then some. Can you comment more about that?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it sounds like you've had an amazing interaction with Lynn. She is an absolute powerhouse. Yeah.
Please stand by for this special presentation of the iMedia One Network on the Live 365 Network and the Live 365 app.
This afternoon, the Grove City College football team closes the 2023 regular season as the Wolverines head up to Greenville in the 39th annual battle for the Mercer County Cup. Kickoff is coming up at the top of the hour here on the Wolverines Sports Network and Western Reserve Radio. Mark Means and Chris Birch will have the call from Greenville. But first, it's time for the Andrew DiDonato Show here on the Wolverines Sports Network. Hi, everybody. Ryan Briggs here, along with Grove City College head football coach Andrew DiDonato. Coach, Welcome back. We were off last week. Good to be back together with you.
Absolutely. Great to be back with you.
The Grove City Wolverines back in action. An open date in Week 10 and Week 9. A memorable week in Grove City College football history. Grove City defeating Bethany 56-14. Wolverines clinching their first ever NCAA playoff berth, at least a share of the President's Athletic Conference title, the PAC trophy on Coach DiDonato's desk here. Looking a very nice addition to an otherwise clean desk, much cleaner than mine. But, Coach, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on making history. What a great day.
It really was. And, as I just reflect on that and look at the trophy, I just, to me, every time I look at it, it just screams, each of us needs all of us. I mean, so many people involved in making this happen. I mean, obviously it told you that. It was neat talking with Mark Means. Chris Birch sent me a message, and I said, congratulations to you as well. And former players, I get a message from whether it be a Josh East or Cody Gustafson or guys who used to play here, and they'd say congratulations, and I'd say congratulations to you. You laid bricks for this to happen. And then, certainly all the young men in uniform on Saturday and all the work that's been put in, all three phases, every coach. So, no, it's a special moment, as you said. Anytime you accomplish something that you've never done before, it's a memorable experience. And for me, it just is each of us needs all of us. So many people who've laid so many bricks in different ways to allow us to do something pretty special.
I'm sure it's probably hard to count the number of emails, texts, calls, direct messages, etc., from people that probably some people that you've never even met, and maybe people that maybe don't have a real even strong affiliation with the college.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it just shows how many people watch and are tuned in. I've had people tell me we watch every live stream. I'm going to pick up my son at the preschool. He goes to preschool here on campus, and students stopped, said, "Hey, me and my parents, I don't play, but we watch every live stream." And and obviously so many alumni that had reached out that said how much they stay connected to the program and following what we're doing, and just so proud. So again, all of that points back to each of us needs all of us, and how many people follow small college football and truly just are excited about what's happening here at Grove City.
I think one of the things that we've learned, and with social media, et cetera, and there certainly are downsides to it. I think everybody would agree, but we always wondered, do people care? And I think what we've learned in the last decade plus is people really care about small college football, and they certainly care about what we're doing here at Grove City in all 23, soon to be 24 sports. And I think just last time out, really illustrating that people who haven't heard that I haven't heard from in 10, 15, 20 years reaching out. It's been a really special thing, and it's carried on well past just 4 o'clock on game day. But speaking of the game, Wolverines led 21-7 at the half. And Bethany came out playing with great effort and giving the Wolverines a lot of fits. Second half, Wolverines came out 28 points in a 3-minute span in the third quarter. Must have been a heck of a halftime talk.
At halftime we did talk just that and again, Bethany was playing great. I mean, they had a really good first half, really nice plan. And sometimes it's not about the scoreboard. It's simply no matter who you're playing, we just know we were doing things that were not up to our fullest potential, and that was the disappointing thing. And we told the guys that, we always say good to great each rep, 1-0 each week. Well, good to great each rep is measurable. And as we looked at the first half, we were getting too many misses, and we were disappointed in that, and just the sense of, hey, good to great each rep is. No matter what's going on or what the circumstance is, I'm doing everything in my power to not get a miss and earn a good to great. And we felt we could have done a better job with that, and we challenged the guys, and they responded well. A lot of greats. Greats are a blocked punt and a big sack and a touchdown play. And so they not only put together a lot of goods, but you score 28 points in 3 minutes when there were a lot of greats as we record them in that span, and just so proud of the way our guys responded.
Bowden Davidson, a pick six. Ben Bladel, blocked punt, blew through, and then blocked the kick, picked it up, and ran it in for a touchdown. He was the PAC's Defensive Player of the Week. He also had a couple of sacks and a recovered fumble. Other than that, he did not a whole lot, but now a PAC high 11 sacks for Ben this year. Nico Flatty, another big day. All in all, a really special day, and great way to honor the seniors too. We got to see some seniors that haven't played as much, getting more playing time in the game. All things considered, other than the few of the first half bumps, but about as good of a senior day as you could ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned some of those seniors who maybe got in for maybe the first time this year. It's amazing. We look at that tape in the third and fourth quarter, similar to what we saw at St. Vincent, and there's no drop in the level of execution and understanding what we do. Now, why that's significant is you hear all the time people say, and it's absolutely true, obviously doesn't matter who's necessarily on the field. Each of us needs all of us, like every rep of scout team, every rep of a special teams look, how important that is, what everyone does. And it is. And the way you're giving a great scout team look is when your time to go in running our stuff, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. That means that individual is locked in. And if they're locked in to do what we're asking them to do, you better believe they're just as locked in to replicate another team's look. That's how you get to the point of being 9-0. These guys come in, and there is no drop in understanding what you're being asked to do, which means you are preparing to be the starter. You are that locked in every single week. That's what it takes in a total program, all three phases, to find ourselves in the situation we find ourselves in now heading into our 10th game. And just something that I have to point out because it's so important to be where we're at right now as a program. So proud of those guys that are always ready to go.
One guy we didn't see much of, I guess fortunately, unfortunately, Daniel Barabay. Wolverines didn't have to punt. He did go out and hold for, I believe, the final extra point of the game. So he got a check mark next to his name. But you're having a good day offensively when you don't have turnovers and your punter is just a spectator.
Yeah, and he actually had asked, Coach, hey, can I go in and hold just so he can get involved in the game? So definitely.
And he is the backup holder.
And he is the backup holder. So it's definitely a good thing when you're not utilizing your punter. So we're blessed to have a good one. And, as I tell them, if we're not using you, then things are going well.
We don't want to wear them out. There have been times over the years, I think, where, we've seen punters get worn out. Not the case with the junior from the Commonwealth of Virginia. Of course, Coach, the Wolverines had an open week last week. What were some points of emphasis last week yes, there is an opponent to prepare for in Theil. What were some of the points of emphasis besides getting ready for the Tomcats?
Number one was rest. Something we put in place a few years ago, and I look at measurables. I feel it's worked. Looking at our 4 bowl wins, how well we've played at the end of season. So one of the first things I do in bye week is I give the guys off Thursday through Sunday. I think it's a huge opportunity to rest your legs. And then we always come back from the bye week scaling back how many periods in practice we do. So we kind of view it as like, hey, we're gonna get off our feet for 4 days, and then we're gonna ramp back up as we work towards the postseason. That's the approach we've taken in the bowl years, and certainly a neat opportunity for us to take that same approach now, as we prepare for playing for the Mercer County Cup and then beyond. So rest was number one. Number two, stay sharp, though. We, in our Tuesday, Wednesday practice, we did the same amount of team periods as normal. That's how we know we're staying sharp. Making sure we're getting the same number of reps, and we worked on Theil looks. Theil's a good football team. Definitely wanted to utilize that extra time to prepare for some of the looks. That obviously Saturday they had different looks, so now we have new looks to prepare for this week. And then the third was compete specifically with our second group and beyond, and we did that. We put them in different situations that we don't normally do, and we always put them in situations, but even more time. Rest, stay sharp, compete, and I felt we accomplished all 3 of those objectives.
Based on the emotion of the Bethany game afterwards, the winning, everything involved. Then you had the senior day dinner and so forth, all of that. It's rare in football to have that open date right after such a big moment. It's the way normally a playoff berth isn't clinched in week 9 in a conference. Occasionally it is, just the way things worked out here. But usually then there's a team that has to turn around, that night and start looking at the next opponent. Having that open date was pretty fortuitous.
No, it is, and I think we're still, coming out of that. I think there is a reality. We always say confront brutal facts, retain faith. We accomplished something we hadn't done before, 9-0 and NCAA tournament bound, and to do that in October when you still have 3 weeks before you'd even worry about an NCAA playoff game. There is a lot of emotions. I think our emotions have been high, and which is fine because we went into an open date, so which is good. But how we've gotten to this point is good to grade each rep 1-0 each week, and we are very, very fortunate, I feel, to have had that bye week that you can enjoy it, and you can hear about, hey, you're going to the NCAA tournament, and not right away just have to say, don't even think about that, right? That's fine, right? And enjoy the celebration. You got the hats, got the T-shirts, right? But I think the bye week's important because now, we really have a tough opponent this week, a much improved team, and what's brought us this far is what is going to continue to drive us, which is, guys, don't worry about what's happened in the past. Don't think about what's going to happen in the future. Good to grade each rep 1-0 each week, and you hit the nail on the head with all the emotion. We were very fortunate to have the bye week, I feel, coming out of that.
Wolverines heading to Theil for the 39th Mercer County Cup game, a game with a lot of tradition, a lot of history. It's one of the oldest rivalries in western Pennsylvania, Grove City and Theil dating back to the 1890s. Coach and I will talk about the Tomcats. As he said, they are a much improved team coming off a 30-27 win last week at St. Vincent. We'll talk about the Tomcats when we come back. But first, here's Joe Underko with this week's PAC football report. This is the Andrew DiDonato Show on the Wolverines Sports Network and Western Reserve Radio.
Welcome to the PAC Football Report, covering games on November 11th, 2023. I'm Joe Underko. This week we will look back at Week 10 games on the gridiron in the President's Athletic Conference, while also previewing PAC Rivalry Week games to close the regular season this Saturday. With 2023 PAC champion Grove City off last weekend, Week 10 saw Carnegie Mellon remain in second place in the conference, following a 21-7 triumph at Westminster. W&J snapped Geneva's 3-game win streak with a decisive 45-7 road victory. Case Western Reserve rolled past Allegheny at home 42-14. Theil held off a late St. Vincent rally to edge the Bearcats 30-27, while Waynesburg kept Bethany winless with a 35-26 road decision. PAC Player of the Week recognition for Week 10 went to Waynesburg sophomore running back Zane Cawley on offense, senior linebacker Tanner Volpatti of W&J on defense, and junior cornerback Justin Logan of Theil on special teams. Earning PAC Newcomer of the Week honors was Theil freshman quarterback Joseph Theil. Week 11 marks the final PAC rivalry week for the near future, as future rivalry games will be worked into the regular season rotation. Highlighting the slate is the 36th playing of the Academic Bowl, as 7-2 Case Western Reserve travels to Pittsburgh to face 8-1 Carnegie Mellon at Gesling Stadium at 7 p.m. CMU has won the last 4 meetings, including a 20-7 final in Cleveland a year ago. The last Spartans win in the series was a 41-34 overtime triumph in Pittsburgh in 2017. Veteran Case head coach Greg Debelak talks about the significance of the rivalry with Carnegie Mellon to his program.
My brother played at Case back in the early 80s, and that certainly was a big matchup, and had a chance to play Carnegie Mellon when I was at John Carroll. So goes back many, many years for me. And, the whole Cleveland-Pittsburgh rivalry, I think, plays into it.
The 39th edition of the Mercer County Cup takes place in Greenville, as 3-6 Theil hosts 9-0 Grove City at Alumni Stadium at 1 p.m. GCC leads the Cup Series 26-12 all-time since its inception in 1984, and has won the last 5 contests against the Tomcats. The series between the local foes dates back to 1892, with this year's matchup marking the 109th all-time between the programs. Second-year Theil head coach Sam Bauman talks about the progress his team has made in 2023.
We definitely are improving. We've shown that in wins and losses. We are a team that, I think has greatly improved from year 1 to year 2. Satisfied? Absolutely not, right? We're here to do more. We're excited about it, and the people in this building definitely believe that we can.
The PAC backyard brawl between 2-7 Waynesburg and 7-2 Washington and Jefferson will kick off at Cameron Stadium in Washington at 1 p.m. W&J has dominated the all-time series, which dates back to 1897. Presidents have won 46 of 50 all-time meetings, including the last 8. with the last Yellow Jacket victory over W&J being a 31-28 overtime final in 2014. Waynesburg head coach Cornelius Coleman talks about Jacket sophomore running back Zane Cawley, who broke the school's single-game rushing record with 336 yards in his first start against Bethany last week.
The great part to see him is just that, not that he's being patient and waiting his time, he's actually just learning. And he's excited to learn from the Justin Flax and the other gentlemen that have been here. So whenever his opportunity comes, he's ready for that moment.
They call it the game when longtime rivals 4-5 Geneva and 5-4 Westminster face off for the 123rd time since 1891 this Saturday at 1 p.m. at Harold-Burry Stadium in New Wilmington, making it the 27th longest rivalry at all levels of college football. The Titans have dominated in recent years with 10 straight victories over the GTs, including a 49-0 blanking in Beaver Falls a year ago. Finally, 2-7 St. Vincent travels to 0-9 Bethany for the Green Game at Bison Stadium at 1 p.m. The Bearcats lead the all-time series with the Bison 10-6, including a 36-7 final in Latrobe last season. Allegheny has the weekend off. That's all for this season-ending edition of the 2023 PAC Football Report. Please log on to the conference website at www.pacathletics.org all season long for the latest news, scores, statistics, and other league information. You can follow us on social media via Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. Links are available at the PAC website. I'm Joe Underko. Thanks for listening. And for a final time in 2023, we'll see you at the stadium.
We are back here on the Wolverines Sports Network and Western Reserve Radio. This is the Andrew DiDonato Show. Ryan Briggs with Grove City College head football coach Andrew DiDonato. Coach, the Wolverines making the short trip to Greenville to take on Theil for the Mercer County Cup, the 39th Mercer County Cup game. Rivalry week in the PAC. The last year of rivalry week, unfortunately, is with 11 teams. It's having to go away, but that's the downside of a growing and flourishing conference. But we'll still play Theil. It'll be, I think, a mid-season game next year. But Coach, going on up to Greenville, taking on a Theil team that vastly improved and coming in with a lot of momentum.
Absolutely. I mean, just first of all, their record. I mean, numbers don't lie. I mean, you see their wins and how they're playing. I mean, defensively from the very beginning. I mean, watching that Week 1 game when they 14-0 against a great Case Western team, and then that defense has kept it up all season long, and we've seen it them making big plays and special teams, making explosive plays. You look at the first play, opening kickoff against St. Vincent, and just an explosive play, return it deep into St. Vincent territory, which then gave them the field position that whole first quarter to build a 14-0 lead. And then you see offense. You see a freshman quarterback who's the newcomer of the week in the conference this week. So you talk about it. We talk about how have we gotten to this point in our program. You got to be good in all three phases. Why does Theil have more wins? Because you see those sparks in all three phases. And I just give a credit to Coach Bauman and their staff and all the players who have bought in. This is a much different Theil team than we've played the last few years.
Tomcats, so 30-27 win at St. Vincent last week. Also wins, defeated Bethany 22-15 earlier in the season, and then winning on homecoming over Waynesburg 15-14, which I think that was a win that really got people's attention back at midseason. Waynesburg was some people had him pegged as a dark horse pick in the league this year, at least to move up. And for Theil to win on homecoming and then to win on the road at St. Vincent, never an easy place to play. Coach, we've been in a very similar position not that long ago. And behind the scenes, the players, coaches, people, the people inside the building know that progress is being made. But when you start to stack some wins up, now there's tangible proof to the outside world, to recruits, to everybody. Now that there's progress is being made and it's showing on the field and on the scoreboard. I'm sure that has to just be giving people in Greenville a lot of additional excitement, a real shot in the arm here coming down the stretch in 2023.
Absolutely. Faith and belief are such powerful things. And we were there too. We saw that where, hey, we know what we want to do. We have a vision. But then we got that night game win against St. Vincent in 2017. And then I remember in 2017 going on the road, and here we are right in a battle with Westminster at halftime at PAC Power. And you started to see that faith and belief become tangible. Oh, we're winning games. We're playing with good football teams. And you see that in Theil. I mean, even just in the offseason, some of the things we were at, you could see them believing in what they were doing. Well, then you go and you beat Bethany. Well, then you beat Waynesburg. Well, then you go on the road and beat St. Vincent. That faith and belief, when you start seeing it with tangible proof, that's when you have a team that is really going to become dangerous week in and week out, and that's what we see happening at Theil right now.
One of the things when you took over as head coach and Derek Bainey, recruiting coordinator, and the whole staff was prioritizing recruiting this region, Western Pennsylvania, and even into Central Pennsylvania to an extent, some Eastern Ohio, and then sprinkling in elsewhere geographically. And just looking at the Theil 2 Deep, seems like a similar blueprint. And with you look at Alliance, Ohio, Campbell, Ohio, DuBois, Ford City, Warren, Ohio, Bradford, Donnie Pattison, the tight end, has been there a few years, but Cannon McMillan, Reynolds, Sharon, Newcastle, Kiski, Pittsburgh, Westinghouse, going on and down, Warren Champion. They're doing a really nice job of getting talent from the Pittsburgh area, the Mahoning Valley, here in Mercer County. And sometimes in the past, they've gone for some quick fixes or trying to get a bunch of guys from Florida or elsewhere. It seems like they have identified a focal point of the recruiting, and they're seeing some dividends.
I couldn't agree more. I always use the phrase "not wrong, just different." I know people have different approaches to recruiting, but the most stable thing I feel I've ever seen was the first thing I ever heard when I got into coaching. The first clinic I went to, I heard a Division I coach get up and said, "You got to win your backyard first." He said, even at that level, yes, they were all recruited nationally, but if you look at the best teams, they win their backyard first. And I believe that's even more true for small college football. Yes, there's so many schools in our league have a national recognition, or maybe could draw kids from all over the country, maybe because of academics or the way the school's structured. No matter what, though, you got to win your backyard first, and that's what we did in rebuilding here. And you just named all the schools right there that they have right now. They're doing the same thing. They're winning their backyard first, and I think that's a huge reason for their turnaround.
The quarterback for Theil, Joseph Theil, 5'9", 170 from Warren. He's out of Champion High School, same alma mater as our boss, athletic director Todd Gibson. But Theil, he took over as the starter early in the season, as you said, PAC newcomer of the week, and he's put together a really fine year, and I certainly would have to think he's one of the top candidates for newcomer of the year in the league this year.
He is, and just dual threat. That's the biggest thing, and that's what makes anytime you're playing a dual threat quarterback just so dangerous, because you just got to account now for an extra guy in the run game. I think one of the biggest challenges always that any team wants to do, certainly we want to do, is outnumber you there in run defense. But when you add the quarterback, that makes that a little more challenging. And so he's doing a lot of good things, obviously making some big throws. You see that. But I think the biggest thing he gives that offense is his dual threat, his ability to run the football, and Theil has found a way to utilize it to its fullest.
Tomcats up front, a couple of seniors on the offensive line. Jaron Daniels, 6'5", 255, a senior. Then Lucas Buchanan, 6 feet, 325, a senior. This is seems like it's a pretty big and physical offensive line.
And I like what they do. We talked about this a few weeks back. They have experience at both tackles and center, and then you put the young guys in between them. You don't have two freshmen playing next to each other. I mean, those are things that honestly, I remember last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, we saw that. They had to play two young guys right next to each other. And again, as we've seen, we're an experienced team. There's certain things you only learn with experience. So having those experienced guys next to the young guys to make the calls for them, communicate with them in game, I think that's a big reason why you see them just so much more sound in their blocking schemes, what they're doing. You definitely see that experience then helping those young guys who are on the field. And it certainly helps a freshman Q when you have a senior running back, a senior tight end. I mean, so for him, he has experienced guys in the backfield with him. So I just think they've done a really nice job bringing these young guys in, but putting them next to guys with experience, and I believe that's the recipe that has worked for them to get some of these wins this season.
Andy Plowden, a running back, 5'8", 230 out of Homewood. And then you mentioned Donnie Patterson, the tight end, 6'2", 240, a senior. Looking at the defense, a little bit unusual in how they deploy their guys. They list four linemen, one linebacker, and then 6 defensive backs. It seems like it's working for them, but it is gives you some additional things to prepare for from an alignment standpoint, right?
Yeah, structurally, they do things that we have not seen yet this year. Early in the year, they did go with an odd front, then they went with an even front. But the overall structure with what you just described as 6 defensive backs, that hasn't changed. They've switched up going from 3 D linemen, 2 linebackers to 4 D linemen, 1 linebacker. But the back end structure of 2 corners and what I would consider 4 safeties, that has stayed the same from week 1 to week now 10. So, I think one thing, even if they based off opponent or whatever reason, even if they changed maybe, hey, it's an even front, hey, it's an odd, the overall defensive structure of how they want to play you and add numbers into pass or run, that has stayed constant. And it's like we always talk about, I think they've committed to an identity. It's unusual. You don't usually see 1 linebacker listed, 5 guys in the box. I think that's the best way I'd describe it for their season, for their whole season. 5 guys in the box. You typically don't see that. But they've gotten really good at where those safeties plug in and add on, and it just gives you a lot more to prepare for. And I just really respect what they're doing and what they're committing to on the defensive side of the ball.
Jared Curcio, the linebacker out of Kiski, 5'11", 210, a senior. Up front, the 2 tackles inside. Chad Morningstar, 6'1", 275 out of Tussey Mountain. He's one of the co-captains this year. Then Luke Faber, 6'5", 265 from Reynolds inside. That front 4, it's they have size and they also have some speed and plenty of experience.
And they are showing up on film, that's for sure. We looked at them, and that's the first thing. Honestly, I think a good way you can look at is a team really improved. Maybe you see them get a win or you see them. Honestly, I look at their offense and defensive lines. And if that has improved, then you can win consistently. And I tell you what, from coordinating the offense, the first thing I look at each week is an opponent's defensive line play. That tells me a lot about what you're going to be able to do then, obviously in the run, but even in the back end and help those guys behind you. And their defensive line is, I'll just say, as good as we've seen for the last several weeks. I'm just telling you, they're big, they're sound, and I just really think they have the defensive line to build around to continue to improve with what they're doing.
Coach, this, of course, is the Mercer County Cup game. A trophy introduced in 1984. One of the great traditions in not only the PAC but in Division III football. Tuesday night, the captains from each team met at the courthouse, which was a tradition that they had in the 80s, and it went away a little bit, and we've been able to bring it back in the last 20 years or so now. It ran in the Wednesday Herald locally, a lot of social media, Instagram, and everything. Both schools promoting it. A really cool tradition. And Coach, you played in 4 Mercer County Cup games. 3-1 record as starting quarterback in the Cup. Your last career game was in the Mercer County Cup. What's this game mean to you?
Great question. And here's what I have to say about how important a game like this is. My brother's 5 years older than me. He came to Grove City first. I sat in the stands for many of his games. I probably can't tell you the details of many of them, if not any of them, except for I'll never forget sitting in the stands at Theil when Gene Iannuzzi blocked a punt, Grove City returned it, and won the Cup. I can't tell you every detail of the 40 games I played in, but I can remember Craig Bicehouse making a big kick. I can remember Vance Kiersey's interception when we were down 17 in the 4th quarter. I remember Luke O'Hara running that 10-yard out and up so that we could score and tie the game. I can remember Mark Rossell batting the ball in the air, batting the ball down so that we could win the game. I couldn't tell you about plays guys made, just a random Week 5 game of 2008, but I can tell you in the Cup game, man, I haven't thought about Vance Kiersey or Mark Rossell in a while, or Craig Bicehouse in a while, or Luke O'Hara. But as soon as you just asked that question, all those names came in. Watching my brother's name came in. Why do you have those memories? Because this is a big game.
The Gene Iannuzzi's name came up 2 weeks ago with Bethany because that was the last time the Wolverines had returned a blocked punt for a touchdown until Ben Bladel did it against Bethany 20 years ago. That 16-15 victory. It's a game I've thought about a lot over the years, and just because that was a day Theil elected to kick off in both halves because he wanted to win in the fourth quarter. Ended up had a long field goal at the end that was short, and the Wolverines winning 16-15 that year. And then, of course, I remember you mentioned your senior year in 2009. The monsoon in 2008 here, there's pictures in the press box and somewhere of the captains that year. I know Mike Baker's in there. Of course, Dick Jewell was our president then. He had the cup and was giving it to him. I mean, it's raining. I think we're making preparations. We might have needed an arc after that game in 2008, but Theil driving towards the scoreboard end and fumbling a snap, trying to spike at the end of the game. Just as you mentioned, again, I've been around for a lot of games now, and some games, scores, details are lost to memories, but you mentioned the Mercer County Cup games, a lot on the good side, a few that some of the ones that Theil has won, remember those too, because they were memorable. I think of 2016. Theil had a huge lead. Grove City came all the way back, tied it. Then Theil took the lead and ended up winning 47-41. Just so many memorable games. And the fact also, Coach, we're playing for something tangible, playing for the cup. Whoever wins it keeps it for the next year, puts it on display. The seniors get their picture taken with it. Here in your office, there are pictures of senior classes with the cup. I know that you have you and your teammates from 2009 with the cup. We have pictures there. And I'm sure at Theil, too, they have got some from some of the different years. Because there's something, we have great rivalries in this conference. Certainly Westminster dating back to 1892 and W&J and Carnegie Mellon. And everybody in the league. Everybody is a rival. But this one's a little different because you have something you can hold on to and something to keep, something that adds something to it.
Yeah, even you mentioned that pictures with it. I think of, 6, 7, 8. I wore number 6. Chris Rich 7. Zach Fulmer 8. Those guys were in my wedding. I have a picture with them. And then the next year, Aaron Talbot, Chris Rich, my 2 roommates. And I remember those pictures because it was with the cup. And it is not, you can go and you can look up scores, but there's not too many times, or there's no other game where I could sit in my office, look to my right, and look at a trophy where engraved in that trophy is every score since 1984. I mean, it's truly what happens in this game gets engraved on something tangible, and that certainly is adds a lot to a rivalry, and will add a lot to this game on Saturday.
Coach, what do the Wolverines need to do to make sure the next engraving starts with Grove City and then has Theil after it?
Good to great each rep, 1-0 each week. It's time to get back to that. And offensively, it's very simple. Run the football. You're going to have chances to make some big plays in the pass. You have to make them. That's our recipe. It's the same recipe every week. That's what we got to do offensively. Defensively, account for the quarterback at all times. I mean, it's a young quarterback. He wants to run a lot. I think we got to limit him, still be able to take away the run, and then limit any explosive play in the pass. And then also limit the explosive on special teams. They've hit fake punts. They've done trick plays, so many, even kick return, trick play to start the game last week against St. Vincent. So be sound and special teams, eliminate the explosive play there as we eliminate the explosive takeaway run on defense, and as we run the ball and make explosive plays in the pass on offense. If we do that at a level where we do get a good to great each rep, then we'll put ourselves in a position to go 1-0 this week.
Coach, we appreciate your time. We know one thing. We will do this next week.
Yes.
The Wolverines will be in the NCAA playoffs. We'll find out the who, the what, the when, and the where Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. But first things first, the Wolverines looking to go 10-0 for the first time in program history and retain possession of the Mercer County Cup. Kickoff is coming up next with Mark and Chris in Greenville. This has been Ryan Briggs. You've been listening to the Andrew DiDonato Show on the Wolverines Sports Network and Western Reserve Radio. Kickoff is next on the home of the Wolverines.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba,
please be done.
Over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
From Alumni Field at
Teal College in Greenville. It is the Wolverines Sports Network and Western Reserve Radio. Mark Means, Chris Birch, Dave Ferris, our on-site engineer. An opportunity this afternoon, Chris, for the Wolverines to make history and have the first 10-0 season in 129 years of football.
Yeah, that's something special here going on. Obviously, this season, all kinds of firsts, all kinds of firsts since, a long time ago. And, for this football program to flip the script on that all those 0-10 years and flip the script and go 10-0, head into the NCAA tournament would be something special. So a lot of work to do yet here today against a much improved Teal team, but just another chance to do something special here with this season.
And when you look at this, it is the 39th playing of the Mercer County Cup. Grove City leads the all-time series 26-12 and have won the last 5 in a row.
Yeah, again, just since really that almost kind of follows the turnaround of the program, right? The past 5 years has been a slow, steady, at times pretty fast improvement, and so Grove City has been able to retain the cup for certainly 5 years, and would love to do it for another year.
You talk about an improving Teal team. They are 3-6 this year. That is their most wins since 2016 when they won 4 games. And they're 2-2 here at home.
2-2 at home, and as Coach DiDonato told our Ryan Briggs in the pregame show, some of their most impressive games have been the close losses against the upper echelon teams. This is not the same old Teal. This is not the same old Teal. This is a good team. They have made splash plays all year. They have an identity on defense. And Grove City, as great as they've been this season, they're going to have their hands full with this bunch.
Here's the important information you need to know. So if you're listening, take note. A win this afternoon puts Grove City at 10-0 for the first time. We will guarantee a spot in the playoffs. And we are going to step aside for a break and come back with more on the pregame show on the Wolverine Sports Network.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown
is your
Phantoms
home
hockey,
for high school sports.
high school
We have
football,
all the
and
scores on our social media platforms throughout the games. Enjoy our timely updates from local area schools year-round. You won't get the consistency and reliability from anyone else. Our number one priority is servicing our fans and getting them live news as it's happening. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Malutic_live. And remember, our fans come first.
Mahoning Valley's leader for golf, Milk Creek Golf Course, is now booking tee times for 2024. We offer stay and play opportunities available with 9 area hotel partners. For more information, visit our website at millcreekmetroparks.org. Also, look for new, exciting opportunities coming soon, including an indoor player development center with Trackman, an indoor Callaway club fitting center, and an Odyssey fitting studio in 2024. Follow us on Facebook at Milk Creek Golf Course or call 330-740-7112.
Back at Alumni Stadium here in Greenville, the Wolverines have taken the field across from us. Wolverines this afternoon with the red pants, white jerseys, red numbers, white helmets with the red G on the side and the bricks down the middle. All right, let's backtrack so everyone knows everything going on today. A win this afternoon gives Grove City an undefeated 10-0 season. It gives Grove City an outright PAC championship. And we've already clinched the berth in the D3 playoffs. The selection show is 5 o'clock on Sunday at ncaa.com. That's where you can go to watch the show. Western Reserve Radio will be also broadcasting live from campus from 5 to 6 o'clock on Sunday. You can find that on our Facebook page or at westernreserveradio.com. So you look inside some of the numbers that we need to know in this matchup. Offensively, it starts with Nico Flotti, leading the President's Athletic Conference in rushing with 960 yards. Second in rushing touchdowns, only 2. Clayton Parrish, who has 10.
Yeah, not bad, right? The two of them, such a great 1-2 punch. Flatty seems to be able to do, a bulk of the work, from the 10 to the 10, so to speak. Then Clayton Parrish goes in and smashes it in from inside the 10, and just able to find the end zone a whole lot. So, but I'm not sure. Obviously, I haven't checked all of the statistics in Division III around the country, but there can't be a better 1-2 punch than those guys in all of Division III.
Captains meeting at midfield. Cole DeFilippo, Aiden Gutierrez, Dom Magliacco, Vinny Lepre out there are official today. Referee is Jack Tayshore. He will lead the crew as the coin toss is underway. And it looks like Theil has won the toss. So the Tomcats make their way onto the field during the toss. So we can say Grove City won the toss. They deferred, like Grove City does under Coach DiDonato.
Yeah.
And the Tomcats will get the football to begin the game here this afternoon.
I haven't written it down or necessarily, paid complete attention. I think Grove City is 6-0 on coin tosses in games I've called now. So it's what they do, right? They win the toss, they defer, and usually end up with the ball last in the first half and first in the second half. So again, following the script.
47 degrees at kickoff under mostly cloudy skies. Almost has that feeling, although it's not expected. If we were a couple weeks down the road, you'd expect some snowflakes with the way the skies are today.
Yeah, no doubt, right. Obviously a little bit too warm for that to be the case today. But, yeah, it has that kind of heavy gray sky, but still not too bad. It's one of those deals where I think, Mark, by the end of the game, the fans will be a little chilly, but it's not going to affect the play. It's kind of almost like a perfect late autumn afternoon for football.
This is an intimate setup in the press box. We are all very close in our visiting booth, so it will not be cold for us today. I did bring the heater, but I don't think we're even going to need it today.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of great, good hospitality here, good setup. So, yeah, looking forward to this. Mark, just our fourth away game that you and I have called together here in all the 14 years that we've been together calling Grove City. So we've had good success at the other ones, and let's hope that continues.
So Caleb Keekley will handle the kickoff duty. Two returners are back deep inside the 5 for the Tomcats. Keekley, 5 touchbacks on the season. And his first year handling the kicking duties for the Wolverines. And Week 10 is underway. A low kick that is going to hit and go out of bounds about the 15-yard line, and that'll give the Tomcats good field position at their 35.
Yeah, it just didn't look like it came off his foot, kind of the way that he wanted it to. A little bit, kind of to the inside. You can see kind of he's going off the field, shaking his head a little bit. So
ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
So, yeah, good field position for Theil to start this game against this Grove City defense that has just been terrific all season long.
Joseph Theil, the freshman out of Champion High School in Warren, Ohio, 332 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 442 yards rushing, and 4 touchdowns. So he is a dual threat for the Tomcats.
He's been a difference maker, right? Still, I think his coaches would like to see him stay in the pocket and pass more, but he's had success running.
They're going to run the football on first down. 2 hands on the football for Andy Plowden, the senior running back, who's able to push the pile forward ahead for a couple of yards. It's going to set up a 2nd down and 8 out to the 37-yard line.
Yeah,